This week we'll be learning about Website Builder in your XpanZion enterprise platform. In a world where attention spans are getting shorter, it is more important now than ever to be able to catch the attention of the viewers of your website. The average viewer will stay on your webpage for 3 seconds, and if they don't find what they're looking for, they will leave. This week we're going to focus on the structure and construction of your website. I'll show you how to configure your company information that will appear on your website and contact page. I'll show you how to use building blocks to build your web pages, how to create new pages, and how to edit your menu. So to get started, I'll set up a share screen here. So the first thing that I want to mention before we get started with the Website Builder training is that it works best working from a laptop or a desktop device. And I find it works best when you can plug a mouse in and use a mouse to do the editing, because to use the building blocks, it's going to be clicking on the block that you want, and you're going to have to click and hold while you drag the block and drop it on the page where you want it. It does work with a laptop touchpad, but it's a little bit hard. You might be good with a touchpad. It does work, but I find it's best to use with a mouse. If you can plug a mouse into your computer, that will work best for your website editing. So the first thing I want to show you is in the back panel of your XpanZion platform. So if you're on the front, if you're on your website, click the website button and do the pull down. And we're going to pull down to settings. Select settings. If you're already in the back panel, it's going to be in the upper black bar where all the modules are, and likely it's under more. So if you click more and go all the way to the bottom and select settings. So when your settings page loads, I want us to go on the left side, and about 1/3 of the way down is general settings. So click on general settings, and then when this page loads, we're looking at the very top line, and at the end of that line, it's got a clickable link that says configure your company data. So go ahead and click that link. So this page loads. This is your company information page. And there's the edit button in the upper left, so click the edit button. Now if you have a physical store and you want to make it easy for your customers to find, you can enter the exact address. So on your Contact Us page, it will be a map. It'll be a clickable Google map that will help direct people to your store. If you work from home or an office that you don't want to be able to be found so easily, you don't have to put it in. You can just go with the city and state and the zip. On the right side, we have the phone number. So enter the best phone number for contacting you. If you have a fax number, you can put it there. Email, enter the best email for contacting you. In the upper left, I want to point out where the logo is. If you hover over that, there's a edit pencil. If you click the edit pencil, that will open up files from your computer that you can select your logo and upload it there. Where it's the company tagline, if you have a tagline, you can enter it. This will not show up on the website anywhere. This is going to be just on invoices and reports. So if you have a company tagline, you can enter it, and just be sure that the company name is entered the way that you want it. When all the information is accurate, click the Save button. And then the next thing I want to show you is where this information shows up on the website. So the page will save, and we're going to go back to the upper black menu and click under More. And we're going to go down and we're going to select Website. So we're going to go back to the front of your website. And when you click Website, the home page is the first page that will come up. And so this page will load, and I want to just scroll all the way to the bottom so we can take a look at the footer. So we get to the bottom of the page and focusing on this middle section where it says Connect with Us, and it's got some links underneath it. It's got a link to the contact page, a link to the news, and a link to a members area, a module that we have installed on the IDSP database. And underneath that, we have a phone icon and a mail icon with the phone number and email that we just entered in that Configure Your Company Data section in the back panel. So let's click on the Contact Us page. So on the Contact Us page, on the right side, it's got the company name, it's got the city and state, and the country, and the phone number, because that's the information that we had entered in. Here's the map, which is a clickable Google Map link. So that shows where the company data will show up on the website. It's either in the footer or on the contact page. One more thing I want to point out about the footer before we move on to building a homepage is down here, it's got the company name as we put it in the company information card, and it's got a link next to it. The About Us link brings us to an About Us page that already exists. So this is a page that you can build out to be your About Us page and do that at your own pace. Today we're going to focus on a home page, so I'm going to click back on the home menu item so we can demonstrate the building of a home page. We'll start here. So when you're logged into your website, in the upper left you'll have a blue edit button. If it says switch to HTTPS for edit, just click that, because you have to be in secure mode to be able to edit. So when you got the edit button, click the blue edit button. And I'm going to demonstrate how these blocks work. So when you get into edit mode, a drawer of building blocks slides out from the left side of the screen. And so if you hover over that and then hover back off of it, the drawer will slide in, and go back and hover on it, slides out. So it works like that. So we're going to focus on building a home page. Usually home pages will start with a banner, so that's the first block that's there. So if we want to drag in a banner block, I'll use this to show how these blocks work. So when you drag the block in, the whole block is selected, and you know that because there's the dotted line all the way around the perimeter of the block. It goes across the width of the screen from the menu down to the top of the block below it. I want to also point out the bigger block is made out of two smaller blocks. So it's got, if you click on the image, it selects this half of the block. If you click on the text half, it'll select that half of the block. When you select one of these blocks, you see that you have some buttons on the top of the block. The first one I'll show is the bar with the up arrow. If you ever see that, you know that you can click that and get to the next larger block. The next button is the 4 direction arrows. If you click that and hold it and then drag, you can move your image to the other side. So these purple areas are showing where you can drop the block on the page. So I'm just going to slide it from the right side and then hover over that purple area and drop it there on the left side. If I want to switch the image, you can either double click on it and it will open up this pop-up. That's your media gallery. So if you already have an image that you want to use loaded, you can pick it, or you have the blue button, which will open up files from your computer, and you can select the image you want. The other way is if you click on the image, and then in your upper edit menu, if you go over to the image icon that says edit, and just feel free to take a look at what all the options are here in the edit menu. Let's click that edit image icon. And I'm going to pick the ABQ Leap logo. So put that on the page. And I'll point out these handles around the image. So the upper handle will allow me to drag it down and position it better on the page. If we click on the image, we see that we have these percentages that will adjust the size of the image. I suggest leave it unclicked or leave it at 100%. If it needs to be smaller, use the handles on the side and shrink it in that way. You can grab it and shrink it like that. So when we have the overall block selected, we have the Customize menu. So that would be if we have this half of it selected and we go the up arrow to get the overall banner block selected. Customize menu shows up. So this is where you can change the background. So if you go down and you hover over background and slide over, you can pick one of the backgrounds provided, or all the way at the bottom, if you click choose an image, that will open up files from your computer and you can pick any image you want to be your background. You also have color choices, so you can pick a color that you want. Slideshow speed, so you can set slideshow timing right here, and that shows that this banner block can have more than one slide. So if you click add slide, it brings in another block just like what you had, and these arrows show up on the left and the right that you can click the arrows and scroll between the slides. Also in the upper menu with customize, it's got the 4 arrows, so again you can drag this block anywhere on the page that you like. It's also got, if you hover over this next icon with the 2 pages on it, it says duplicate container. If you click that one, you'll get another block just like the one you have. You also have the trash can if you want to trash one of your blocks. So let's get through some of these main blocks that I use all the time. So the text image, image text block, it doesn't matter which one you choose, just choose one, because we know we can pick the image and use the arrows and slide it to the left if we want it on the left side. Again, you know how to update the image if you want. Next block I want to show off is a title block. So if we grab and we drag a title block and we hover over a purple area and unclick and drop it, I'm going to use this block and I'll demonstrate how to make a link. Like I use a title block for a lot of different things because the text is centered. So I can just one click on the text and it will highlight the whole thing. So like your website title, I could use this. I could one click on it, select all of the text, and I can make that into an image. I can make that into a video. In this case, I want to make it a link. So I'm just going to type in, click the link below. Okay, and then I'm going to click on the subtitle, and this is what I'm going to make into a button. So we go into the upper edit menu, click on the chain icon, it's the link button. Click that and that opens up this link window. So the first box is the link label. Started with the default text, so this is going to be the text that appears on your button. So I'm just going to say something like go to link. And then under page, we have this white, if you click the new or existing page, click that, it opens up this box. So this is going to be searching for a page that exists on your website. You can also link to anywhere else on the internet. You just go to the page that you want to link to, copy the URL. So I selected Contact Us from that pull-down menu. If you're copying from another place on the internet, copy and paste into this box, and then that will link to any other page that you want to link to. The next thing is style, so you can click on that color style button, and that pulls down the color options available for the button. And then next to that is size, so you can select between extra small, small, default, or large. And I'll click the large one. So once you have it how you want it, click Save. And there your button shows up. And I'll test that after we're done with this edit session. We'll make sure that that works before we end the demonstration. But the next block I want to show is the 3-column block. So I use this a lot of times on a home page. There's maybe only 3 reasons why people would come to the website, and you want to give easy navigation to get to those areas of your website. So this can be the graphical imagery that represents those areas of the website. The pictures themselves can become links. So if you click on the picture and go to the link button, now you're editing the image. You don't do anything with the link label. You leave that image in the brackets like that, but you just make it go to the page that you want and click Save. And then the image itself would be a link. And then you can have some description of that section of your website. The next block, so maybe you want a quote on your website. There's a quote block. that you can bring in here and just drag and put it where you want it on the page. Next one I want to show is a share button. Share buttons are always important, so you can drag share buttons, and this is for your visitors. If they use these buttons and are using these social media channels, this will share to their pages, their own social media pages. I'll show off the image gallery. This is a helpful block, and this also shows different blocks. When you bring it in, we'll have different options under the Customize menu. So you can explore the Customize menus and see what different features are available. But this one is for doing a slideshow or having a grid of images or videos on your web page. So you go down to Add Images, and you can pick any images you want. So if I want to just select some images from my gallery, I can pick the ones that I want to be part of this image gallery. If you want to go the blue button and go into your computer and you have all the ones you want in one file, you can just go to that file, click on the top one, and hold Shift and click on the bottom one. That will select all of them, and then you load those in. It might take a few minutes if you select a lot of images, but when they do load, they'll all be selected blue like this, and then you click Save. And this is something I'll cover some of the glitches that I've found, and this is one of them. So this starts in slideshow mode. So if we go under Customize and we go to Mode and we pick Masonry or Grid, I usually go with the Masonry one. That's going to give you access to be able to pick that first one that was a blank, and you can go under Customize and remove it from the gallery. And then you can go back to slideshow mode and it won't be there anymore. Remember to click Save often. Sometimes when some of your changes don't seem to be happening, click Save and they happen. And then you can come back and start a new edit session. So let's just notice that Customize, you can do different things like the columns. If you want to have more than 3 columns, you can go 6, 12, whatever number of columns you want. So again, just look at the Customize menus, see what different options are available. Here's one last feature that I want to show about the website builder, and that is this parallax block. That's going to be at the bottom. And so what the parallax feature is where it's the effect where the foreground will slide at different speeds over the background. So the way this parallax block works is that you can drag other blocks into it. So I can put it at the top of the page, and then I took the banner block and I put that into the parallax block. So click anywhere. I clicked on the right side, click the up arrow so I get the whole block. Click on the 4 direction arrows, click and hold, and then drag it, and you're looking for the purple areas where you can drop it. So if I go here, I keep adding inside of the parallax, and then as I scroll, you can see this effect where the foreground and the background are scrolling at different speeds. The foreground is a little faster than the background. And so if I go up arrow, now I've got the parallax block again. Under Customize, we've got the scroll speed option. So if you select static, that's going to make it behave where the foreground and the background are static with each other. They move at the same rate, just like any standard web page. You've got very slow, slow, fixed, fast, very fast. So the different speeds set the speed at which the foreground and background slide over each other. If you click Fixed, I'll click Fixed and I'll click Save on my edit session, because we see that the background went away. It looks like it's not there, but when we click Save and when the page loads, it will be there. And this is when the page, when your edits would be live for when visitors come to your website. As soon as you save, it's live. So now as I scroll, you see that the background is still and the foreground slides over the background. So this is nice because it will never distort your backgrounds. It freezes the height of that parallax at the height of the screen, so that no distortion will happen. So that's basically what I wanted to show about building a page. So that was just basic construction and layout of a page, and then use the images that you want, videos, text, just lay it out. And you can also always look at websites that you like and try to mimic things that you like about other websites. The next thing I want to point out is how to create a new page. So in the upper black menu, we go over towards the right where it says content. If we click on content and go down to new page, so that's going to open up this pop-up, and this is where you're naming your page. And I suggest be basic with your naming. Consider keywords. It always helps. But potentially think that any page could be a landing page that you want to tell people how to get there and kind of make that easy. So for example, if this is a services page you want to build, I would just call it services. And I'll type it. I'm not going to create a new page, but we'll type in services. I want to point out the box below it where it says add page and menu. So if you want the page to show up in your menu, leave that checked. If you don't want the page to show up, if you want it to be a hidden page, unclick that box. And then when you click continue, it's going to open up your new page already in edit mode. And then you can just start building your page. So I'm going to cancel. I'm not going to create a new page. The next thing to point out is how to edit your menu. So we go back under content in the black menu bar, click content, and the very first item is edit menu. So when you click on that, here is the list of your menu listed vertically. So it's listed vertically, but this is going to be left to right across the top of your website. So home would be the furthest to the left, followed by enroll, library, membership. This is our IDSP page. If you want to change the order, you just click on the menu item and drag it. And you can see you can drop it anywhere. I could drop events there, leave it at the bottom. These indented ones are submenus. So library, you would click library and have a pull-down menu for the access panel, worksheets, the YouTube training, and the online training hub. You can slide those back out if you want so that they're not indented, or leave them in as indented to be submenu items. If you want to edit any of your menu items, you can click the edit button and adjust here where the link will take you. And then, so if you make changes, click save. I'll just close out of this. Just want to demonstrate here how to edit your menu. While I'm thinking about it, let's try the link. So the link I created down here, you can hover over it and you'll see at the bottom of the screen where the link is going to take you. And if I click on it, I see that it's loading a new page. And it says contact us. Good news. It came to the contact page like I wanted it to. So another thing that I'll point out is in the black menu bar again is customize. So let's click on customize. And as I mentioned in the website builder, depending on what type of page you're looking at on your website, you'll have different features available here. So you see a standard web page will have the show logo option. If you unclick the show logo, it'll take the logo out from the upper left part of your website and it will replace it with your company name. You have an option to show sign-in. I suggest leaving that one checked. It's going to make it easier for navigating and being able to log into your website. And you have an option if you want to uncheck the footer or leave the footer on. And this box is specific to the contact page. So if I didn't want the contact form to show up, I could unclick that. But what I want to focus on here in the customize menu is customize theme. So let's click on customize theme. So this shows some different color options that are available. So we've got the gray, green, blue, purple, red, or orange. So this is going to change things like button colors and subtitle text. If I click the green one, for example, we'll see that the footer color will change here to this green and the text change to white. I'll point out the font combinations down here. So if we click on the Georgia Helvetica, I was on Helvetica, Georgia. But we'll try the Georgia Helvetica. It changes all of the text style to the fancier serif style text, the fonts. I'll keep it back. We're going to keep ours the more basic Helvetica style font. And I'll click back on my gray. I just wanted to point out that this is where you can get some different theme options. Another thing to point out is in the black menu, we have a button there. It's a little, if you hover over this little mobile preview button, it's a little picture of a phone. If you click on that icon, it's going to load a mobile preview. So you can make sure that your website that you're building is going to be optimized the best it can be for use on a mobile device. So you can scroll and see how it's looking. And you can even navigate from here. If you're navigating within your site, you can click the buttons and it will keep going new pages within the preview. And you can see how your pages are doing. And close out if you, it's just a preview, so you can check that out. And one final thing I want to point out is that there's this meter here in close to the middle of the black bar, a little bit to the right. If you click on the meter, this is going to open a tutorial that will lead you step by step through the building of your website. So you can use what helps you. Just do what it says, and it's got a button here that you can click as done. So if you click the mark as done button and then do the next step, it's going to keep tracking the meter until you get to 100%. So that's just, wanted to point out that that's a useful tool that's available for you to use. There is one final tip that I want to cover that I have noticed will happen once in a while, and that's when you're trying to save your edit session, that sometimes the edit button is dark and not clickable. I'm not sure how to duplicate this, so I'm just going to talk about it. So if this ever happens, I find that I can just do any minor change, like it's like the database doesn't recognize the change that you made if it was just one small change. So what I'll do is I'll put my cursor in the text somewhere and I'll space and backspace, and that will make the edit button, the save button, clickable. Otherwise, duplicate a block and then delete your extra block, just anything like that, to cause the save button to light up again so you can click it and make sure you're able to save your work as you go. I just want to make sure that you don't lose any of your valuable work. So make note of that.